What's up, everybody? Citizen Kimberly here. Welcome back to the channel, and now it's time for an episode of Netflix and Chop, where we slice open and dissect the featured film. Today's feature we're going to be discussing is a 2016 suspenseful thriller, an independent film named The Good Neighbor. So the story starts off and we're introduced kind of documentary style to two young men who are in high school. And they're kind of like, we're going to do something big. We are going to record someone's genuine reaction to the thought or making them think that they're being haunted. So the two are kind of going over their plan about how they're going to trick their next door neighbor or the neighbor across the street, who is an elderly gentleman played by Caan, and they're going to trick this man into thinking that he's being haunted. So obviously we're really interested in how this is going to happen, and of course they give us parts of the plan. So I'm going to describe these two characters sort of kind of like this. We're going to go blonde kid and we're going to go dark haired kid. So we got blonde haired kid and dark haired kid. Okay. Blonde kid, he is coming from a troubled background. His father has left him. He is kind of a prick. He wants to become this big time director, and he has this plan that this is the way that he's going to do it. And then we have dark haired kid. Dark haired kid also comes from kind of a split home, but his father is wealthy. Dark haired kid's father has graciously given dark haired kid a credit card, and the dark haired kid has totally maxed out this credit card on all of this electronical surveillance equipment and the things that they need to implant into their next door neighbor's home. So while the kids are discussing their plan, I'm kind of like, oh my god, like, really? Blonde kid has kind of gone over the technical issues surrounding this diabolical plan that they have put together in all of their high school adolescent dumbness. So they work everything out, and they've studied their neighbor's routine, his comings, his goings, the time, all of that stuff. And they've mapped out a specific time when the neighbor is going to go and get his groceries to implant all of these electronical devices. Essentially, we're listening and looking at these two kids, blonde-haired kid and dark-haired kid, discuss their plans with each other on videotape, and they're also discussing it with their girlfriends. Their girlfriends are kind of like, what are you doing? This is really stupid. But they explain that the neighbor's kind of this crotchety old dude who doesn't care about anybody. He's mean, he yells at kids, he deserves it, and this is forward thinking. This is the future. We get to do this experiment and it's gonna be big. The blonde-haired kid is really looking for fame. He wants 1 million views. The dark-haired kid, he's kind of got a soul, and he's like, you know, this is kind of weird, but I'm gonna go ahead and follow through. The dark-haired kid's just moved into town. He's introduced to this blonde kid and they hit it off. So the dark-haired kid's kind of like, I'll go along with it because this kid is my friend and he seems okay. So while that's going on, we also get flashes to a courtroom scene. Thing has definitely gone down. They've been found out. Their plan is kind of busted and disgusted, and now they're in court. Things have hit the fan, and that's what they're dealing with. Then we flash back to the implementation of phase one. Phase one has to do with the lights. These two have rigged this man's lights in his electrical box to go off at certain times. And of course, with the standard paranormal hauntings, lights flash in and out, yada yada yada. Phase 2, they've rigged this man's back door to continuously slam, bam bam bam, waking this dude up. But we see that the neighbor is kind of psycho, and he goes and gets this axe and chops this door down like nobody's business. Meanwhile, dark-haired kid is becoming suspicious. He's kind of thinking like, why is this dude so nuts? Why doesn't he call the cops? We're kind of led to believe that something shady's going on with the neighbor, and he perhaps is a psycho and a crackpot due to all the rumors that have been spread throughout the neighborhood about this particular neighbor. So while we're watching these two pull this elaborate prank, every now and then we flash to the court scene. We don't see the two teenagers at all. They're not present, so that would lead the viewer to suspect something tragic has happened with the two teenagers. And after that assumption is made, we flash back to the two teenagers who have gotten increasingly more aggressive towards the next door neighbor due to the neighbor not reacting in the proper way when all of these out of sorts things have been happening in his realm. Since the neighbor has spent an enormous time in his basement, something has gone down in that basement, which leads them to become, again, increasingly more aggressive in their tactics towards getting the truth out of this neighbor. We also discover a couple of secrets that the blonde-haired kid has, kind of a chip on the shoulder towards this particular neighbor, and we also discover the decline between the blonde-haired kid and the dark-haired kid's friendship. Their relationship is beginning to disintegrate right before our very eyes. So now I'm going to stop with the plot analysis and I'm going to go straight into my thoughts on the film. So this film was really interesting. I felt like the plot was particularly original. The story was laid out and told very well. I did like the look that the director was presenting. More or less, it's kind of like a paranormal activity style where we're watching through video cameras, but instead of looking through video cameras the entire time, like handheld video cameras, we also get other perspectives other than just the handheld shaky cam video camera. We have standard installed, we have plain, like we're looking into their life kind of looks, handheld camera, and we also get the computer camera. So I appreciated all of those different kind of perspectives. That was really cool. I also think that since the storyline, in my opinion, was really original, although it was dumb. I mean, the two characters were dumb, but it is not out of the realm of reality to think that it's like people do dumb things all the time. You read it all the time on AOL. So this particular story is not that far-fetched. People do a lot of interesting, crazy, horrific, and downright deplorable things just to be famous. So I felt like these characters were fairly written very well. I can see it happening through the eyes of two teenage boys who are just really trying to either work through some things and solidify themselves in society, in the world, because people want to be seen. So I really liked that element of it. I really enjoyed the acting. James Caan did a terrific job as the crotchety old neighbor. The two boys, they did a great job as being adolescent dummies who are just, they're pretty dumb. The supporting cast, everybody else that was involved, the two girlfriends did a great job of being just girls who actually weren't that dumb for girls, and I appreciated that. So I'm gonna give this film a B+, only because I kind of felt like maybe it could have punched up a little bit more. The suspense factor was done really, really well. I will also say that my only problem with the film, which was probably of my own doing because I'm always looking for things to be like, was that they did show the courtroom scenes. But there is a reason that they showed the courtroom scenes, but since they showed them so early on, it kind of gave me a clue that something went down. And I don't know if that was if it was completely necessary or not, but I did feel like, fail, because I kind of know, although the ending is something that I didn't suspect, and that's why I give the film a B+. So, if you're into films that create an air of suspense, if you're into films that are written fairly well and realistically, if you're into films that kind of shock you and kind of throw you for a loop and you get the boomerang effect, then you will enjoy The Good Neighbor. I would recommend it. I hope you enjoy it if you watch it. And that's going to do it for this video. You guys, Let me know in the comments below if you have also watched this film, or if you've watched any other suspenseful thrillers that kind of gave you the loop-de-loop and made you feel some type of way about yourself. Let me know in the comments down below. Also, don't forget to check out my other reviews on movies, whether they're a hit or a miss. As always, until next time, if you're into it, watch it.